morning, I'm Amar Singh Pradhan. Let's begin with the top stories this hour. The Prime Minister's office exceeds budget of various ministries working on infrastructure development. Premier Oli charged of centralizing financial resources. Speaker and Deputy Speaker from the same party leads to constitutional debate. Main opposition puts pressure on the government to give up one position. Donald Trump's summit talks with Kim Jong-un in Singapore on 12th of June back on track, a week after it was scrapped. Announcement comes after talks with the North Korean envoy. And former champion Novak Djokovic defeats Spaniard Roberto Bastuta to enter the fourth round of French Open. Alexander Zverev advances to first round Garros quarterfinals. Let's begin with the national political updates. The budget of this fiscal year has allocated the highest amounts for the offices of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers compared to the past. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, who enjoys a powerful two-thirds majority, has preserved a significant amount of the budget under his own jurisdiction, exceeding the amount allotted for infrastructure development. Prime Minister Oli formed a powerful two-thirds majority government yesterday by incorporating Sanghiya Samajwadi Forum. It was only the first elected Prime Minister BP Koirala who enjoyed two-thirds majority around 50 years ago. The opportunity has now bestowed upon Nepal Communist Party's co-chairman KP Sharma Oli, rendering him the strongest political clout than any other Prime Minister in recent history. Likewise, Prime Minister Oli has made the officers under him financially affluent by allocating more budget than any other authorities in the current government. The budget assigned for the Prime Minister's office is even higher than that allotted for the Ministries of Education, Health and Physical Infrastructures, among other development entities. The highest amount of budget allocated for the Prime Minister's office is supposed to be spent through the National Reconstruction Authority. Likewise, the number of authorities under Prime Minister Oli's jurisdiction has reached 11, including the offices of Attorney General, National Investigation, Revenue Investigation and Anti-Money Laundering Department, among others. Meanwhile, the opposition has claimed that the good governance cannot be assured merely by the highest body looking after the works of ministries taking control over a significant amount of national budget. And moving on, as per the constitutional provision, Speaker and Deputy Speaker for both House of Representatives and Provincial Assemblies should be appointed from the different parties. The erstwhile CPN-UML and Maoist Centre had shared power in the government based on the same provision. However, following the merger between them, a constitutional complexity has surfaced over the positions of current Speaker and Deputy Speaker in the lower house and 6 provincial governments. According to Article 91 of the Constitution, there should be representation of 2 different parties in the post of Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Based on the provision, the lower house elected Maoist Centre's Krishna Bahadur Mahara as Speaker and Sivamaya Tumbahambe from UML as Deputy Speaker. Now, both the parties have unified to be the Nepal Communist Party. There are speakers and deputy speakers from the Nepal Communist Parties in 6 of the 7 provinces as well. Constitutional experts have said that the parties should vacate one of the positions in order to do away with the legal dilemma. The main opposition, Nepali Congress too, has demanded that the ruling party should either give up one of the 2 positions. However, Deputy Leader of Nepal Communist Party's Parliamentary Party, Subhash Chandra Nemwang, is of the view that there should be no constitutional barrier, as both speakers and deputy speakers were rendered free of any political affiliation following their appointment. The recent development would lead to a number of definitions and debates within the political circle. Meanwhile, the government has the option of amending the very constitutional provision by taking the opposition and the provinces into confidence. But any decision contrary to the basic norms of the Constitution is likely to draw criticisms. Meanwhile, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has appointed Defence Minister Ishwar Pokhrel and Sanghiya Samajwadi Forum President Upendra Yadav as Deputy Prime Ministers. In contrary to his own past stance against catering the position of a Deputy Prime Minister at the Cabinet, Premier Oli has appointed Ishwar Pokhrel as the 2nd in rank, while Upendra Yadav is in third in ranking. Yesterday, President Bidya Devi Bhandari had appointed Yadav as the Health Minister and Ishtiaq Rai as Urban Development Minister. Prior to this, Yadav was twice appointed as the Foreign Minister. Meanwhile, Rai has the experience of handling the position of Labour Minister. Forum decided to participate in the government after forcing a two-point agreement with the ruling Nepal Communist Party regarding amendments in Constitution according to its significance and necessity. Based on the Constitution, the Prime Minister now can appoint one more minister to the cabinet, which currently stands at 24. Oli had expanded the cabinet on the 26th of February and 16th of March. And with that, it's now time for a short break. More news when we come back. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. The budget has sanctioned 200 billion rupees to reconstruct private residence of all the earthquake victims within a year. However, at a time when the Reconstruction Authority has failed to utilize half of the amount allotted in the current fiscal year, it cannot be guaranteed that the budget for the upcoming fiscal year will be best utilized. After formation of National Reconstruction Authority, at least 130 billion rupees has been spent in 2.5 years. One of the 145 billion rupees sanctioned last year, the authority has spent only 72 billion rupees. The budget has failed to be utilized following slack reconstruction of private settlement, government buildings and heritages. Meanwhile, of the 773,000 earthquake victims, only 161,000 have rebuilt their houses and received third installment of the government's grant. At least 433,000 victims have received the second installment. The experts have stressed on the need of mobilizing human resources and the materials required for reconstruction under government leadership in order to speed up reconstruction of private homes. The authority has estimated over 900 billion rupees for reconstruction of private residences, schools, health centers, government offices and heritages. It is viewed that instead of putting pressure on the victims to reconstruct their houses, it is imperative to deploy skilled human resources and make building materials available to speed up reconstruction drive. And now time for international update. US President Donald Trump's summit talks with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in Singapore on 12th of June is back on track a week after it was scrapped. Trump made the announcement after talks with a senior North Korean envoy at the White House. The envoy, General Kim Yong-chol, hand-delivered a letter from the North Korean leader to President Trump. Trump at first said the letter was very interesting, but later said he had not yet opened it. He also said the issue of formally ending the Korean War would be on the table in Singapore. The 1950-53 conflict only ended with a truce, not a final peace treaty. Trump cautioned that the summit might not achieve a final deal on the North's controversial nuclear program. The historic meeting between Trump and Kim Jong-un would be the first between sitting US and North Korean leaders. President Trump has offered to help rebuild the North's economy if it scraps its nuclear weapons. Kim Jong-un says he is committed to denuclearization in some form, but his precise demands are still not clear. Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy has been forced to step down by a no-confidence vote in Parliament. Socialist leader Pedro Sanchez, who filed a motion after Rajoy's party was implicated in a corruption scandal, will become Prime Minister. Rajoy is the first Prime Minister in modern Spanish history to be defeated in a no-confidence motion. The leader of the Conservative People's Party has been Prime Minister since 2011. Sanchez secured a majority in the vote after gaining support from various smaller parties, including the Basque Nationalist Party. And with that, it's now time for another short break. More news when we come back. Do stay tuned. And yesterday we had asked the residents of Dhankuta, Dhading and Rupandai if they have been receiving customary discounts while purchasing medicines. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
Public voice.
औषधिमा पार्किङ गर्दैनौं जति भने त्यति नै दिन्छौं अब हामीलाई रोग निको हुन पर्यो है बिरामी भएर आइन्छ
औषधिमा छुट हुँदैन भनेर औषधि पसलेहरुले छुट दिने गरेका छैन
एक दुईपल्ट भनेको पनि हो त्यहाँ छैन कहाँ हुने हुँदैन भन्छन्
औषधिमा त्यस्तो डिस्काउन्ट हुन्न फाइदा हुन्न कहाँ हुन्छ र म्याडम अब हामीले लेखेकै रेट अनुसार दिन्छौं भन्नुहुन्छ।
औषधिलाई बार्गेनिङ गर्न मिल्दैन। औषधिलाई किनभने आफ्नो ज्यानको सवाल छ, घरै बेचेर भए पनि औषधि त गर्नु पर्यो, के गर्ने, हामी चाहिँ बाध्यता हो त्यो।
4000, 4500, 5000 को लिन्छु एकैचोटि, त्यसमा मलाई 7% छुट दिने गरिएको छ।
कहाँ छोडिदिन्छ, अर्को पसलमा जा भन्छ।
धेरै छुट हुने गरी पसलले आफै हिसाब गरेर छुट गरिदिएको चाहिँ मलाई त्यति अनुभव छैन।
And now time for some business updates. Almost 2 months after the government managed to break the syndicate system in transport, general public is yet to feel the much needed relief in the daily commute. General public is still finding to get the means of transport during office hours very difficult. They are also forced to travel in crowded vehicles. Passengers were hoping that the end of syndicate system will make the transport market more competitive, giving way to better transport facilities. However, difficulties for passengers have remained intact 2 months since ending the system. Some 2.2 million people using the public transport across the country are facing a hard time on a daily basis. Outdated vehicles, mannerless drivers and their assistants, coupled with risky roads, have become synonymous to traveling in Nepal. Despite playing an instrumental role in doing away with the syndicate, the Ministry of Physical Planning since then has remained indifferent to better manage the transport system. And now time for our segment Public Pulse, where it texts us with their opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, why has public transport not improved despite the ending of syndicate system? Your options are option A, indifferent government, option B, feeble implementation mechanism, and option C, nexus with entrepreneurs. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 8080 and do share your opinion with us. And it's now time for Sports Update.
Sports News.
Alexander Zverev have entered into the 4th round of the French Open. In what was considered as the toughest match this year for Serbian, Djokovic spent nearly 4 hours battling past obdurate Spaniard Roberto Batistuta, defeating him in 4 sets to advance into the 4th round. The 31-year-old took the first set 6-4, losing the second set 6-7. He made a comeback with the third and fourth sets, taking them 7-6, 6-2. The 12 times Grand Slam winner, who is at his lowest seeding in a Grand Slam for 12 years following an elbow injury, has been struggling to get back into his form. Djokovic will now see another Spaniard, Fernando Verdasco, who advanced into the 4th round, defeating Grigor Dimitrov. Likewise, second seed Alexander Zverev saved a match point on his way to a grinding 5-set win over Bosnian Damir Djumur, securing his first trip to the last 16 at Roland Garros. The young German Zverev defeated his opponent in 5 sets 6-2, 3-6, 4-6, 7-6 and 7-5. This is the first time the 21-year-old has entered the quarterfinals of French Open. And moving on to football, France have continued the impressive build-up to the World Cup with a comfortable 3-1 victory over Italy in a friendly played last night. At their home ground, Nice, Samuel Umtiti set the host on their way in the 8th minute itself after Kylian Mbappe's effort was parried by the Italian goalkeeper. France doubled their lead when Antoine Griezmann converted a penalty after Lucas Hernandez had been fouled. Leonardo Bonucci reduced the deficit for Italy in the 36th minute, but Ousmane Dembele's chip rounded off a fine French display in the second half to give France a well-deserving win over their guests. Prior to this friendly, France had also defeated the Republic of Ireland 2-0 on Monday. France have now won 5 and drawn 1 of the 6 games played against Italy. It may be recalled that Italy, who have failed to qualify for the Russia World Cup, are the winners of the 2006 World Cup, where they defeated France on penalties in the final. In another friendly played last night, Egypt and Colombia settled for goalless draw, while Tunisia and Turkey ended their friendly with a 2-all score. And moving on to cricket, Nepal, along with Scotland, the Netherlands and United Arab Emirates have been included in the ICC One-Day World Ranking. Among the minnows, Scotland is placed 13th with 28 points. UAE is in the 14th spot with 18 points, while the Netherlands has 13 points. Nepal is yet to open its account as it has not played against any teams with one-day status. Nepal has backed the one-day status until 2022, and the future of Nepalese cricket is based on the performance of Team Nepal till that time. Nepal begins the one-day campaign with 2 matches against the Netherlands on 1st and 3rd of August. And here's a look at the top stories one more time. The Prime Minister's office exceeds budget of various ministries working on infrastructure development. Premier Oli charged of centralizing financial resources. Speaker and Deputy Speaker from the same party leads to constitutional debate. Main opposition puts pressure on the government to give up one position. Donald Trump summit talks with Kim Jong-un in Singapore on 12th of June back on track a week after it was scrapped. Announcement comes after talks with the North Korean envoy at the White House. And former champion Novak Djokovic defeats Roberto Batistuta to enter the 4th round. Alexander Zverev advances to his first Roland Garros quarterfinals. And those were the latest headlines. Our next English bulletin will be at 11 a.m. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KTV SD. Good day.